13. One was called Reach for the Stars. I feel like the Stygian Gambit, the Murkmire Malevolence, and
Merc
Masterpiece of
Mile
Holy
Malevolent
Murkmire Malevolence. Those
Male.
felt like those are kind of
Wow.
falling like a
Easy for you to
book
say.
series.
Malevolent. Hmm.
Malevolent.
Malevolence.
This one goes up to Malevolence.
Malevolence.
Malevolence. Ha! I did it.
Uh, um, but yeah, this is Vidorant's vault. But I have to say, using the noun vault, which is in the collection of adventures, I feel like, I guess
That wrong?
they really wanted that alliteration of Vidorant's
Yeah.
vault.
But also, like, I'm hoping we get to break into a vault.
You do. So,
Oh, good.
Spoiler.
Spoiler.
For the adventure. That is the one sentence definition of this adventure. Is that we are trucking along through these adventures. There's after Vidorant's Vault. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 left in this book, and one of them's a murder mystery set on a train.
Is it really?
Is it
Is it
another?
like for real? Real?
Is it a different
Yeah,
one?
Yeah, it's a different one.
Oh.
Also, it stars an Illithid detective. So yeah, I'm a little excited for that one. That was
That's
I'm excited
so
for it.
much fun.
yeah.
So
Oh, yeah.
far, this is my
That
favorite
guy?
series
Ooh.
of adventures.
Awesome. Well, it's not going to end with an escape on a dinosaur, probably. So,
Well, we wouldn't want to. Like, just we don't want to be pigeonholed as the Escape on a Dinosaur podcast. So we have range.
yes.
Pigeonholed or branded?
Yeah.
It really could go both ways.
So is YouTube stuff actually working?
Yeah, and nobody said that something's broken, and there's no
That-
echoes or
Have we given them time? Have they
things.
said?
Yes. Spool has said Tuesday night, and then Kit
Okay.
Price says break
Tuesday
into a vault
night.
or break into a song. I'm here for it. So let's
Wow.
yeah. I feel like
Probably not
going
going to be a song, but
All
you
right.
could hope.
Hi, live stream / bootleg. I don't know where this file will start. It's me, Tony. I'm your friend. James Thompson is not here tonight. I thought he was going to be, but unfortunately he's dealing with some stuff. And he wishes he was here. He says hi. But
I
spent
wish
a
he
lot
was
of
here
time-
too because he'd be running the recording.
Yes.
No.
Yep.
But it's fine.
I'm just gonna say I spent a lot of time James proofing this adventure. And it's I think was that work wasted? Yes. Yes, it was.
Tony, if it'll make you feel any better,
Challenge
I could-
accepted. We'll all be James.
Yeah, I've kind of been keeping things on rails, but I can switch to chaos real easily if it'll make you feel better.
I mean, can you then switch back? Or is it like once you're in all the way?
It's an adventure by adventure thing, I think.
Gotcha. So, as always, I wish I was feeling more prepared for this adventure, but that's just life. And honestly, Dungeons and Dragons is one of those things that I think I'm like above average prepared for on an average as set by Tony, not as an average set by like life. But I'm just saying you're gonna get some weird Tuesday night energy. I think everyone is
yes.
is
Tony,
like a little punchy, a little tired, a little wonky. I don't
Tony.
know. Should I speak for all of you? Chip will speak for Chip.
I'm just saying, Tony, you and I should probably have an offline conversation about marketing.
Oh, really?
This is going to be the greatest adventure ever. Oh, we're so on.
I
There's so
am
many
very
fun
excited to
things I have
run.
planned for you guys.
I
that
am
sort of
very
thing.
excited to run the adventure. This does look like a cool adventure. It's this is one of those where the adventure is just like, here's a box basically, or here's a place, here's all the stuff for all the stuff that's in the room, but there is zero indication for like, and this is what the player should do, this is what we think the players will do. This is just we are defining a puzzle. Let's see what happens when you let them loose. Yeah, I'm gonna suggest, we've done a couple of these heists now. It's been a while. I think, normally if I was running an adventure that was not a podcast, I would just say like, do whatever you want. But I'm gonna suggest, because this is a podcast, that this first session you're gonna get a briefing, you're gonna gather some information, and this is probably the gather intel phase of the operation. The next episode is probably the make the plan, and depending on what that looks like, you may launch the plan. And then, the third episode is either launch the plan or deal with the fallout. Is a
Fallout.
strong fallout. Can we use
Yeah.
fallout?
Yeah.
Resulting inciting events from the
So it's
plan.
not until the start of the third episode that you'll start making fun of our plan.
Okay.
I have tried.
That's what
to
I
make fun
heard.
of your plans less.
Yep.
But I feel like
Or do we just like go in and not make a plan since he always
I
makes
have
fun
really
of our
tried
plan?
to be
Yeah.
less insulting to our players, and I feel like that has not been reciprocated by the quality of plans I've been presented with.
Okay.
I was gonna say by the quality of us. But
Listen, I'm
I will,
I'm
asterisk, your fashion plan was the
flawless.
best.
it
I
worked.
mean, I don't know if it was flawless. It was very good.
It
Can any
absolutely-
plan
I
be
mean,
flawless?
have we had a plan that failed yet?
No,
Oh, fail's a strong word. I feel
nobody
like the last
died yet.
No. Though I feel like I was a little disappointed with the last adventure in term not as written in terms like it felt like basically it was going to be a smash and grab. I felt like it wasn't on their part in terms of how they designed it. So I'm hoping this one will be a little bit more elegant. But whatever.
Elegance. Not
Because
elegant
Kathy
house,
is
main house.
elegant.
Elegant.
My goal
All
is
right.
for our plan to require us to synchronize our watches,
Excellent.
which we
Excellent.
don't even have.
Yeah. Do we have
could
to
have a
steal
little-
one first?
We have timepieces, probably.
Timepieces. Yeah, each of you is carrying around a grandfather clock.
No, I'm carrying an hourglass, and I just have to hope it doesn't twist over too much while I'm.
But you got to
Got it
reset
in my
that
bag.
24 times a day. That seems exhausting.
It does like 2 hours.
Does it? Okay. Oh, you got one of the double-sized ones?
It's
Oh.
pretty
That's a
big.
heavy
Wait a minute.
thing
You've
of
got an
sand to be
We
hourglass.
have a
here.
bag of holding. We can carry whatever we want.
You've got an hourglass that does 2
Is there-
hours. They don't call that a
is there-
2-hour glass.
Is there gravity
hour's
inside
glass.
a bag
Yeah, I
of
did-
holding?
Yeah, actually, I have a lot of questions about that. It doesn't like pause it.
I feel like that
Um,
needs to be a whole other
yeah.
podcast, though.
Yeah, we need John Syracuse to pivot into that because I don't think it should be somebody who's knowledgeable about the rules. It should just somebody with strong opinions about how magic and physics interact. It should not be grounded in well, as this adventure clearly outlines, there is gravity inside a bag of holding. Anyway. All right, let's capture this energy and turn it into a podcast. Why don't we?
Let's.
Comedy.
Okay.
Comedy. Welcome back to Total Party Kill. It's me, Tony Sindelar, your dungeon master. I use he, him pronouns. And today we are starting up one of our new adventures from the Keys from the Golden Vault collection. We are going to be playing Vidorant's Vault. That's right. Vault is mentioned twice if you say Keys from the Golden Vault. Vidorant's Vault. Who is Vidorant? You don't know yet, but you will soon. Let's find out together as we meet our players. Joining me, it's a bunch of familiar operatives for that shadowy organization, the Golden Vault. First up, Kathy Campbell.
Hello, Tony Sindelar. I am here and I am playing Tinkerbell, who is a fairy druid, now level 7, and one of these days is going to maybe not fly to save the adventure, but I don't know. We'll see. We'll see.
Flight is real powerful and useful, right?
Yep,
So why
yep.
would you? It just makes walking look like a sucker's game.
It's true. It's true.
Also joining us, it's Monty Ashley.
Hi, I'm Monty Ashley. He, him. I'm playing Krong, Bugbear Rogue, Specialist in Explosives.
Is that okay?
I felt like,
do not- yeah.
Tinkerbell flies. We should all have our team thing by this
Yeah.
point.
The players do not run their intros by me ahead of time, and it shows. Next up, it's Annette Wierstra.
Hello,
you.
I am playing J. Raff, Asimar Paladin, who is the team's fashion and costume designer. We both use the pronouns she, her.
Thank you, Annette. And last but not least, the chip to my Dale, Chip Sudderth. I almost said Chip and Dale. That's 2 people, or chipmunks, depending on how you feel about things. Chip Sudderth, everybody!
Hey, once again, feeling traumatized over his name. And his character's name is Josh Molis, shares my pronouns, he, him. Josh is a cleric rogue who is really into empathy and bashing you with a magic mace.
Oh, um, hmm.
Two sides of the same coin.
Um, yeah,
Hmm.
I think
He's a
we should
switch.
get. Yeah. Oh, okay. Um, so our adventure is going to start a little different than previous ventures because you are in a carriage. That's right. I fast forwarded several minutes into the adventure. You're already in a carriage,
Gasp!
bumbling along. You are on the road on your way to Waterdeep. It is several days' travel from your normal stomping grounds of Varkenbluff. And you have strangely waited until now to activate your traditional briefing cube, but you see that Waterdeep is on the horizon, and now is the time to do so. So you activate your little wooden briefing cube by putting the little magic key in it, and you hear the familiar voice of Mira Rahim, your handler for the Golden Vault. Someone you've occasionally met in person, but basically usually have a remote work relationship with.
I hate that guy.
It's the woman.
Is his name
Uh,
Charlie? Is her
no,
name Charlie?
her name
It's
is
Orson.
Mira Rahim.
No, it should
Um,
be. It should be. Can we
Reference
nickname her
acknowledged.
Charlie?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Greetings,
Into
angels.
it
I
we
mean,
want.
greetings, operatives. We've now extended my Charlie's Angels knowledge.
And the
Okay.
This
pose.
job is demeaning.
Yeah. Greetings, operatives. An heirloom diadem. Is that the right way to say that word?
Yes.
Yeah, nice.
It's
Greetings,
starting off
operatives.
very good.
We're doing
this is
so
gonna be
great.
this is gonna be a very Tuesday night session, just so everyone knows. I'm sorry, editor. Leave all
I'm
of this
so
in.
sorry.
Just leave it in.
There
We
should be
deserve it.
evidence of our crimes should be preserved so that others can learn from us. Greetings, operatives. An heirloom diadem from a dwarven queen is in the possession of a master thief. Should have practiced saying this name out loud ahead of time. Nixlana Vidorant. I'm just gonna start that all over again because it turns out you can read sentences ahead of time before reading them out loud. A thing I, as a professional dungeon master, know. This fifth time is gonna be great. Greetings, operatives. An heirloom diadem from a dwarven queen is in the possession of a master thief known as Nixlana Vidorant. The queen's descendant, one Samfith Goldenbeard, would like the diadem returned, and the Golden Vault finds value in allying with his Silver Fings Society. It's a thieves guild currently run by Samfith Goldenbeard. This quest, should you choose to undertake it, requires you to infiltrate Vidorant's vault and recover the diadem. Start by meeting with Goldenbeard at the Yawning Portal Tavern in Waterdeep. Good luck, operatives. And the little key dissolves away. So this adventure is going to be a little different than your previous adventures in that you have mainly been in and around the town of Varkenbluff. But today, for this adventure, you will be in the city of Waterdeep, which is a very different environment than perhaps some of your characters are used to. Waterdeep is known as the Jewel of the Sword Coast. It is basically the biggest metropolis in the known world of the Sword Coast, which is Dungeons and Dragons, right? So this is a huge, sprawling city with different wards. It's a walled city. It's a port city. It has lots of different things, and it is a common place that adventurers might go to, but also is home to many people. It is also a city of laws and law and order, and there might be some things that perhaps you've gotten away with in the past in your other travels that would be frowned upon here in Waterdeep. And have I looked up have I pre-obtained a PDF of the Waterdeep Code Legal in preparation for certain players doing things? I have. Will we start off the adventure with me reading to you all of the crimes and their punishments? No, that would be a really
Aw.
bad way to start an adventure. But let's hit some highlights. The Waterdeep Code Legal is organized into crimes against lords, officials, and nobles, crimes against the city, crimes against the gods, and crimes against citizens. And you'll see that
And there's two competing thieves guilds that we know about already.
Yeah.
yes. And the thing about organized crimes, they keep it off the streets, right? So It is important to know that Waterdeep is as a city which has a significant basically police presence in terms of the Waterdeep City Watch, and even things like using magic openly in the street or getting into a fight could potentially end up with you paying large fines, being in prison for a short amount of time, or banished from the city of Waterdeep. I should probably say and/or. So just be aware
Andor.
that those are things. And this is not intended as a to-do list. I could see if you give this to James Thompson, he would look over and be like, "Oh, slavery, only flogging and hard labor for up to 10 years." That's a,
That sounds
that's a
like a
fun thing.
deal.
But I'm slapping you in the face with this set of legal kind of constitutional thing as a setting of the tone for Waterdeep as a very different place.
Hey,
Your
Tony.
coach takes you through the main gates of Waterdeep and into the bustling metropolis that is. There's lots of big open roads where you can navigate on coaches, lots of side streets where probably you're better off being on foot. And there are several, it's divided into several wards that hopefully, if I loaded the map correctly, you can see. Monty's going to ask me a question.
Um, do you want to make stay out of trouble one of the instructions the Golden Vault gives us?
That is always one of the instructions the Golden Vault gives you because
Wait, really?
Yes.
First I'm hearing of it.
I was like,
What?
Yeah, that sounds like
think
it should
in
be
the
something in the
prison
key.
It said,
Mm.
yeah, in the prison it said not to get noticed, but the rest
Yeah.
of the time there
Yeah.
was no such.
They don't care.
instructions.
It is important.
Scrapping at the end of these things.
You've all been through a thorough orientation that just like college orientation you remember none of. And yeah, it is.
Valid.
The,
None.
the keys from the Golden Vault is a secret society that does good in the world, and part of their ability to do that is based on, they need to keep a low profile and not get in trouble with both forces that might care a little bit more about things being lawful, or they don't necessarily also want to fall afoul of any particularly ill-inclined organizations as well. So yeah, discretion is always part of your mission, whether you have chosen to incorporate that or
Blah,
not.
blah.
Yeah,
Like, unless you told us specifically, I totally forgot.
Yep.
I told you specifically probably every time, but
Nah.
none
I
of
don't
this
think so.
That
surprises me.
doesn't sound
I don't
familiar.
think
This
so.
this
sound right.
this does track with your activities, so this is I'm gonna say this is probably on me. As your parent figure, I have probably failed
Oh
you.
no.
That's how you all think of me, right?
Yep.
4 episodes from now, we're riding away. Waterdeep is just burned to the ground.
It's such a big city. It has a lot of stone buildings.
Watch
but
us. That sounds like a threat. Like that.
they
like
found a way.
inspiration.
So I've loaded a picture of Waterdeep map, map of Waterdeep, just to show you how big a bustling city it is, to give you kind of a general sense of things. It's Waterdeep is on this kind of it's built on the shore. You can see there's the Waterdeep Harbor is to the south of Waterdeep. They built it there because the water is deep, people. It's not a very complicated name.
Whoa.
Yeah. The southern half of Waterdeep is your slightly more like industrial and or less moneyed sections of Waterdeep in terms of the dock ward, the trade ward. The southern ward would be where there'd be lots of slums. And basically,
ward.
the what ward?
The slum.
Fun.
Fun ward? There is
Fun
no
ward.
fun ward. Well, I mean, maybe. As you make your way from south to north, basically, like the money kind of increases. The castle ward is the center of Waterdeep and is home to kind of many of the administrative buildings. There's a big market area just north of that. The north ward is your upper middle class neighborhoods. And then the sea ward is your old money, who've made their money in mainly so-called the C ward, because most of them made their money in shipping related things. But that's your old money neighborhoods of Waterdeep there. Yeah, the City of the Dead is just what they call their big graveyard. So
Creative.
Fancy.
that's the thing on the map, and people are going to be like, "What's the deal with that?" It's a graveyard. Or maybe they would call it a necropolis. Would they call it a necropolis? Probably.
I'm very attracted to the City of the Dead.
Okay.
I'm attracted to this dot on the map that says Vidorant's Vault.
I did
Technically, I
pre-label
haven't heard about it
the
yet,
map.
so I'm sure that would come.
Would you like to do anything before heading to the Yawning Portal for your meeting with Sam Fifth Goldenbeard?
Oh, there's so many things I want to see in the famous city of Waterdeep.
There is a lot. They have these famous giant statues. There's like a tower in this kind of the corner that has like a big wizard's tower on top of a mountain. I mean, there's a lot to see
Are
and
there
do
any
here. It also
hands? Statues?
there's no stone. Well, that some of the statues have hands, but none of the statues are explicitly of
Okay,
hands. That's kind of
okay.
that's like a small town thing.
Is there the equivalent of a Jack the Ripper walking tour, but for
Oh, yeah.
some sort of D&D equivalent?
Yeah, there's like four of them. They have one that's like, Jack the Ripper if he was a goblin, mate. World, world building.
I want that tour.
I also
do.
can we have like a little montage of us?
I am
doing
worried
this
that
tour
my stupid side
before
tangent
we
is
go
now
to
more
the-
interesting
the
than my
tavern?
main game.
I mean,
Yeah, but just like insert montage of
Yeah.
us doing
Yeah.
this
So
tour.
yeah, you're there like 4 hours before the meeting, so you do a walking tour, you hit some of the outlet shops.
Can we
I think
hit
there's
the
a
city
lot
of
of
the
people.
dead just so I could.
Yeah,
like,
you go through the city of the dead. You do some rubbings of some really cool gravestones.
Ooh, yeah.
There's a lot of just people
Obviously.
watching because Waterdeep is a fancy, big giant city, and it has lots of lots of adventurers wandering through. There's also probably people from all kinds of different races and walks of life that it would be here that are probably not as likely to hang out in Podunk, Varkenbluff, where all you guys are. You practice. Several of you have perhaps affected Waterdeep accents for the after having been in town for like an hour. So
Like
Well,
you
that
do.
raises a question, Tony.
Mm.
What's a Waterdeep accent like?
Yeah, thank you.
This is
good question.
a dangerous thing that I have not established, and we have run many past adventures in Waterdeep. Erica, I'm going to need you to go back and re-edit all of those adventures. A Waterdeep, or possibly we were talking to people that just were in Waterdeep. They weren't Waterdeep born and raised, because a Waterdeep accent, it sounds like a heavy Boston accent. Canon.
That sounds wicked good.
Yeah. Oh, it's wicked piss of good, mate. My Boston accent is not good. But this is
It's
what
true.
you asked for.
It's true. I guess everybody we talk to sounds like somebody from Boston.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Smart. Canon. Works.
Yeah. So you're just having a grand old day of things here in the big city. I don't know what other things people do in big cities because I'm so salty earth. I've never been a tourist. I'm at home. I'm at home anywhere I go.
Oh,
I never
wow.
leave my house, people.
That's why you're at home anywhere you go, because you don't go anywhere.
Yeah, I'm like a turtle.
Shall we go to the tavern?
All right.
Let's go to the tavern if
Yeah.
we're not going to pregame at
You know,
another
the
tavern.
yawning portal, the yawning portal is almost
No,
like
this is the wrong place. I heard about this.
It's
This
across
is
the
a place
street.
that tries to trick you.
yeah,
Nervous is so
It's
slow.
right across the street.
it's just across the street. We get this all the time, except the guy in there is very friendly. He's like, "We get this all the time. You're looking for the yawning portal. It's that way." That's Sleepy, the owner and operator of the Yawning Turtle. Thank you. It's Tuesday night. So the Yawning Portal is certainly the most famous tavern in Waterdeep, and probably basically one of the most famous taverns in all of Dungeons and Dragons land, which is the official name for things. Though people tell you it's the Sword Coast, but the official name is Dungeons and Dragons land, because it is just a popular place for adventurers traveling up and down the Sword Coast to hang out and swap tales. It's the place to be seen as far as an adventure goes. They pretend that it's like a place to pick up work, but there's so many more adventurers there than anyone else that it's actually not a great place to like get anything done. And it is noteworthy and gets its name from the large basically hole in the middle of the tavern. So the yawning portal. Did I mention that Waterdeep is a giant city that's built atop how did I forget to mention this? Waterdeep is built over the giant sprawling dungeon of Undermountain, so named because it's under a mountain. It's
Wow.
yeah, a mad wizard built like a giant maze of several layers of catacombs that are all under Waterdeep. And the Yawning Portal is one of the places that giant labyrinth of tunnels basically connects with the top world, and so it's like a place for adventurers that want to go into Undermountain can enter there. So it's like, it's basically they have kind of like a party every time people are going to go down in the portal, and people take bets on it. They probably also have a party when people come back, but there's not an equal number of those parties. Adventuring is a hard life. Will this particular adventure feature time and travel in Undermountain? No, it will not. But
Are you sure? Don't we want to go under the vault?
you can do
Tony,
whatever
we
you
have
want.
agency here.
This
Yeah.
is look. Um,
It's weird. You'd think that the tunnels would be flooded because the water table would be high.
Yeah, 'cause
you
the
know,
water is so
water
deep.
right there.
oh, are you a geologist, Monty?
Yes.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay, good. Because I do not know how that works. I will take your word for it.
Well, in San Diego, no one has
Oh.
a basement, so therefore,
Okay.
Yep.
I'm just saying, in New England, a lot of people have basements, and they are
oh,
moist.
interesting.
But they are
interesting.
moist. Yeah, it's where we keep all our mildewed books before we throw them out. so, so is the Yawning Portal a good meeting space? It's a little bit like if somebody told you that they wanted to meet at what would be like a really not so great restaurant in Times Square in New York. Do they have TGIF?
Like Hard
Any-
Rock Cafe.
Do they have a Hard Rock Cafe still?
I
Do
don't
those-
know. It feels like
Okay.
something they'd have
Yeah.
there.
It,
in
or Planet Hollywood. It would be
1982.
like
Yeah.
if they were like, yeah, let's meet there. in
Basically, any
Times
restaurant
Square.
in Times Square.
Okay,
Gonna
yeah.
kinda have that same vibe.
What do you consider, Kathy, is the M&M store a restaurant?
I think it is.
Let's discuss it.
Yeah.
Yeah, this seems like it's a very okay. So first, we need to start with the definition of what a restaurant.
Yeah,
is.
can we start with the history of food?
Can you sit down and eat at the M&M store? Or is
I
it
don't know.
only
I've never
that
been
Yeah,
you
I
inside.
take
don't
away?
think that there are seating places.
Seating? Oh, so a stand-up place is not counted as a
Well,
restaurant.
no, because they have
No.
tables.
Okay.
Yeah, a hot dog stand is not a restaurant.
No,
Gotcha. Does a restaurant need to, by definition, serve more than one thing, especially if that one thing is M&M's?
no.
No.
Okay. All right. So if
Listeners, this is the gathering information phase of the adventure.
We're gathering nonsense,
Tuesday
but it's still
night!
gathering.
if I bring a folding chair to the M&M store, I think that it's important that I apologize in this moment for every time I've been critical of people in the past, both in the context of Dungeons and Dragons podcasts and in general at large. It's Tuesday. I got a couple more days to go. It's all going great. So you are at the Yawning Portal. It's kind of it's early afternoon. This is clearly not. It's like between the lunch and dinner rush. This place is not packed. The barkeep working the bar kind of seems to assume that you're here for some kind of meeting, and he wordlessly kind of gestures to one of the booths in the back of the bar.
What should I look like?
What should you look like?
The owner
Probably
of the
not a
Yawning
bugbear.
Turtle.
I look like a highwayman,
Ooh.
the adamant kind, just covered in buckles and straps and a cool hat.
Nice.
Wait, I don't understand that. Okay, I've Googled some stuff. I'm caught up. That was a very educational moment for me. I had to
Adamant,
piece together-
highwayman, yeah, that's the guy. That's what
All
I
right,
look like.
yep.
I look
it.
amazing.
Yeah. All right. So the four of you head in toward the back of the Yawning Portal. It's mainly there's a big stone pit in the middle of the Yawning Portal. There's lots of tables with little chairs around it, but at the back there's a couple booths. The booths are usually not particularly popular because they're really far from the pit. So and if you're gonna go to the Yawning Portal, you want to be near the pit. That's the whole point. But at the back, there's two kind of stout-looking dwarven bodyguards, and they kind of pull back a curtain, and you see seated in a booth a elegantly dressed dwarf with a golden beard, because his name is Sameth Goldenbeard. Do I have AI art I've generated of Sameth Goldenbeard? I do.
Golden
Behold,
beard, water deep, under
behold
it's
his golden beard.
It is very golden.
Wow.
And some
Um,
nice bling.
he looks fancy. He's got a lot of rings. He's got some earrings. He's got some stuff woven into his beard, and he is wearing some nice clothing. And he kind of he asks, and the bartender for the yawning portal during the fifth, if anyone's asking, comes over with a tray of teacups and a kettle of tea, and lays out a table there. And so far, Sampith Goldenbeard hasn't said anything yet, and he kind of gestures to you all, and he takes out his little pinky, and he dips it in his cup of tea, and he tastes it. He says, "You can't be too careful." It's a pleasure to meet you all. I know you've traveled quite some ways to meet with me. I'm Samfith Goldenbeard, as you probably assumed, recently taken on head of the organization of the Silverfinger Society. A pleasure.
Hi.
Hello.
I get it. No names. Makes sense.
Can I just ask right up front, why is your society not handling this? Why did you outsource this to ...
An excellent question. Well, in part, this is a matter of personal business. The diadem that I would like returned is of relatively little financial value, but is of great importance to me, members of my clan. It's been missing for generations. To reclaim it would be important. But also, I'll be honest with you, it is more than that. There's some business politics involved. Nixlana was, until very recently, a member of the Silverfing Society. There are still many friends and allies of her in the organization. I have only recently come into this leadership role. My authority is still being tested. I'm still figuring out who I can trust and who I can rely upon. And I know that there are those within my organization who are still loyal to Nixlana. It's my hope that, in addition to returning this heirloom to my family, to my ancestral clan, that it'll send a message to Nixlana that she is no longer welcome within the Silverfinger Society, both officially and unofficially. And of course, my organization, your employers have made it very clear what I will be required to do to make good, to repay this favor. Yes.
This diadem that we're getting, is it magical?
It's not. Simply of material wealth is my believing. It was several generations back. It's a ruby diadem, belonged to a dwarven queen way back on my grandmother's side, Erlin Blessed Door. But I believe it's simply a of artistic and sentimental value.
Do you have a description?
He provides you a description of the diadem. I don't super know what diadems look like. To me, based on the piece of art I'm looking at, this is a great question. I don't know, Annette. You seem like you'd be knowledgeable. Where does tiara
I'm gonna say
end
a
and diadem
diadem is
begin?
not dissimilar from a tiara.
Okay, it looks like a blinged out tiara.
Yeah,
Yeah.
isn't it kind of the placement of it, like how you wear a diadem versus
Would it be
a
like
tiara?
more on your forehead?
Yeah.
Is that it? Okay.
Like
Yeah.
like the thing around your forehead.
Yeah.
The
as
art
opposed to
provided
a-
in the adventure is someone stealing it, not someone wearing it. So I can't
Rude.
tell.
Yeah.
So that context clue is missing for me.
Yeah.
But it does look like a fancy tiara or such. It's got a
fancy
big-
hat, maybe almost.
Yeah, it's got a
could
bunch
be.
of rubies in it, and it's real shiny. Yeah.
It's kind of like a headband, but you wear it on your forehead.
Yeah.
You're muted.
yeah, more like a circlet than a hat.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Um.
So if it's not valuable and it's not magical, why did they steal it? Just
Um, it was part of a larger heist at some point. I actually used to adventure with Nexlana. We actually tried out for the Silverfinger Society together many years back. We were friends once, but no longer. And it was just a trinket as part of a larger haul. And I suppose Nexlana just kind of saved it for herself as a memento. I have not seen her vault myself, but my understanding is that she has a wide variety of treasures from her many successful jobs.
And why do you specifically need this one back?
It belongs to my family.
Was the heist on your family?
No, it was from a museum.
Hmm.
um, do you have any information? So it's in a vault. Do you have any information for us about the security of this vault or how we like? Is it?
He pulls out
Where
a
the vault is.
He pulls out
Yes.
I guess a tourist map of Waterdeep. It's like one of those like cartoony maps with the buildings are kind of three-dimensional, and there's
Hmm,
like a
hmm.
dragon pointing at somebody
Oh, where the
who
that's
somebody's
where
shop who paid for the map.
the homes of the celebrities.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and he
And
circles two locations on the map, and maybe draws a big star where the yawning portal is uh, to show you. So Vidorant's vault is down here. It's kind of on the edge of the dock ward, and it's basically a reinforced warehouse. Um, I'm going to rely on you to do additional scouting and information gathering as you see fit. I don't know if it will be pertinent to your investigations, but Vidorant herself lives in a very nice manse here in the Sea Ward, and he draws an indicator for where that is on the map. So Vidorant seems to have basically two important, significant properties in Waterdeep: her fancy home in the rich people district on the north, and this vault on the more southern side of Waterdeep.
Clearly, we need to break into the house.
Mhm.
Can you
Who
tell us
cares
anything
what the
about?
adventure is called?
Mm.
Oh yeah, good question. Wait, first of all, can you tell us anything about Nixlana? What her talents are? What her weaknesses are?
Well,
Was she in love with you, and did you break up dramatically?
it's complicated.
We need to know these things.
Vital information.
Answer the question. Did
We've
you
had
order the
many
cold
ups and
red?
downs. She is a formidable fighter. She is an amazing thief. She is cunning and smart and not to be trifled with. But if you are to face her face to face, do not trust a word she speaks to you.
Have you just like asked her for it back?
Yes.
And how did she reply?
My current success is an obstacle to her ambitions.
What are her ambitions?
She would like to be running the Silverfinger Society herself.
So like maybe it's not a heist, but this
A
is
matchmaking?
yeah, like we have to parent trap them or something. I don't know.
Is it okay if we steal other stuff while we're in the vault or her house?
Please help yourself.
All right.
Help yourself to her stuff.
Um, do you know of anybody else on her team or that she works with that might have some, shall we say, skills or extra precautionary information that we need to be aware of for the protections around the vault?
I
the
don't.
item.
She is usually a solo operator. I imagine she has a variety of hired security forces on staff, but none of them would be longtime employees.
Okay.
You said you're still consolidating your power.
Indeed.
And the Silverfinger Society, there are some people there that you don't trust that you think are in her pocket.
Indeed.
Are there any in the Silverfinger Society that you do trust who she thinks is in her pocket?
Not that I know of currently. And I should mention, currently, you are the only operators being given this job, uh, but it is possible that others within the society uh, could learn of the details and have a vested interest in seeing the job sway one way or another. I particularly think of those who would like to see it fail.
Yeah, like, do other people know that this vault of incredible riches is here in the city?
I think it has managed to maintain a relatively low profile, in part being located in a relatively rundown part of a Waterdeep. Um, there are many places in Waterdeep full of riches and finery that one could intrude upon that would probably be a much easier payday than this one.
No, but
But
this
of
is the
course,
big one.
this
You know
is the
what
one
we
that
are?
has the diadem that I seek in it.
You guys know what we are? We're the Beagle Boys.
Ooh.
Things don't usually traditionally work out great for the Beagle Boys, Monty. I don't know if you spoilers if you've never read to the end of a Scrooge McDuck. If you're like 2/3 in and you're like, oh, these guys are great.
All I know is we're going to knock over a giant vault
Yeah.
with complete confidence, and that sounds like the Beagle
Yeah,
Boys.
Yeah.
you're gonna make Ma proud. So
I
Excellent.
feel that's fair.
this adventure, I feel like there's kind of two keys from the Golden Vault adventure types. There is a ticking clock, and you need to do this in 24 hours, or something bad will happen, or the thing will disappear. This one, I think, is a little bit, I think you probably shouldn't take forever because, you can only operate in Waterdeep for so long before you start to risk being detected, but is a slower burn in terms of your ability to plan, collect information, do whatever it is you think would be helpful to do to learn about how you're going to pull off the heist of Vidorant's vault. Any other questions for Sam Fifth Goldenbeard before he bids you adieu?
No.
Okay.
Does he leave?
He leaves along with his two bodyguards who both give you kind of friendly nods. And
So-
he gives you directions for how to contact him once you have the diadem.
So our task is just to get the diadem back. We were told nothing about keeping Goldenbeard in charge of the Silver Fingers.
Yeah.
If we can make a deal with whatever her name is, Vidorant, to give us the thing and take over the guild, like that solves everything
That
real smoothly.
Sounds real easy too.
What does the Golden Vault had an interest in him running the show, didn't they?
They did.
That's what
The
he
Golden Vault-
says. All I know is what we were told to do.
Yeah.
I mean, how do we know he's not the villain stealing this
Frankly,
diadem?
I'm very suspicious about the Golden Vault in all of these
Yeah.
cases. They say
Actually-
they're
Yeah.
doing good. We don't know any of that.
Actually,
They're just doing this task so that they can get power over a thieves guild.
Yeah.
Tony, can I make an insight check? Was there anything
on the
that
Golden
ring-
Vault.
No. Was there anything that? Could
On
I
the
make an
shadowy
insight check? Was there anything that
organization.
that did not ring true about what he was telling
Yeah,
us?
give me an insight check on Sam Fifth Goldenbeard.
That'd be a 23.
Wow.
You feel like he was probably being a little cagey about some of the details, and especially about maybe his past relationship with Nixlana Vidorant.
Didn't need to roll dice for that one.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but it is you feel like he was very upfront about that the diadem is in her possession, that it's not magical, that it's valuable to him because of its family history, and that he has a limited set of resources given his somewhat precarious role in this thieves guild that he has just taken over.
I still think we should try and rematch them up, and then the problem goes away.
I like that it's
mean-
not magical because using locate magic to find the thing that we're looking for always feels like cheating.
Yeah. No, I agree. I still
If
will
we-
approve of using it, but yeah, it feels a little bit like cheating.
Well, if we pull this off, he's going to owe us big time because of the position that he's in.
Yeah. But he already made a deal with the Golden Vault on what like the present or like what the prize is. So
Yeah.
we can't negotiate there.
Yeah.
He would be an important ally and resource.
Blah blah
You know.
blah. Ally,
I mean-
ally,
As
long as he
ally.
stays
Resource,
in
resource,
power.
resource.
You did.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm just gonna point out you did burn one thieves guild to the floor. Sort of. Did you burn them to the floor? I don't know, but I forget where things were left with them.
Yeah, I think we
You-
left before it was gone.
Okay, you set fire to
we
one
didn't
thieves
burn it.
guild. It's like you should probably do a nice thing for another thieves guild to maintain the neutrality of thieves guild up and down the sword course. Right?
I'm not that worried about him being an ally because this is a
Yeah.
fairly episodic life we're living, and who
Hey,
knows if
hey,
we're ever
hey.
going to see
Yeah.
him or Waterdeep ever again.
Waterdeep is like
Is
it would be like
Monty
if you could
eating
never
James
go.
right now?
It would be like if you could never go back to New York City. It would, I mean,
Whatevs.
wow. Okay, Kim.
I live so far from New York City, Tony. Do you have any idea how hard it is for me to go there?
I
I
have
kn-
been
Monty-
once.
Monty, I live so much closer, and I am guaranteed sure that you have been more times than me to go to shows because
I've
I
been
know
twice.
what kind of nerd you are, Monty.
Rude.
Gosh.
Look, as a Bostonian, I don't actually even live in Boston, but as a person who currently lives in Eastern Massachusetts, I can't cross into Connecticut without getting itchy. It's just how it is. But back to this adventure. You've had your meeting with Sam Fifth Goldenbeard, and just a name I like saying, Sam Fifth Goldenbeard. It's nice. It's good for me. And you have received a very cursory briefing on Vidorant's vault. I think you should brainstorm some things you might do or what you might do next with your time in Waterdeep as you plan for this heist.
How do we get employed as guards of the vault?
Certainly a thing you could explore.
Does she need to celebrate Fashion Week?
She
How does she
probably
feel about
likes
fashion?
Fashion.
What day? Wait,
bet.
I mean, it was just Fashion Week in Varkenbluff.
Yeah.
Does that mean Fashion Week in Waterdeep is upcoming, or
I think it really depends on the strategic placement of each fashion week, where it started, and if the city feels like it needs to come before and make a presence, or if it's like, I'm going to save the best for last type of vibes.
Yeah, I feel like Waterdeep would close it out, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
that's the
Feel like
finale. Especially,
I'm-
we've made enough references to Times Square. This is the New York Fashion Week type energy, and yeah, so I feel like it's gonna come.
I would never want to do anything to disparage your Fashion Week plans. But as your
Great.
friend, I just want to point out that there may be some challenges here in that, Waterdeep is such a more cosmopolitan city that people may actually be slightly more aware of some of the things around actual Fashion Week.
Oh my God, you're
Are you
right. We need to do a montage
Insulting
where we
my
go to.
fashion skills?
Yes.
Like I'm
No, I'm just saying
Yeah.
they
We need to
might
get new
know
clothes
that you
right
are
now.
not actually like a famous designer.
What if I'm
No.
an up and coming
Yeah.
designer?
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
I'm just saying you might have to adjust your narrative.
We can no. We can make this work. We can make this work. Especially if it's ooh. All right, we need to infiltrate the planning committee for Fashion Week to have it be this very urban industrial vibes. It's going to be placed in the dock ward in order
Yeah.
to
That
like,
location.
yes
For our
Um,
fashion show.
yes.
It says here the Silverfinger Society is an elite thievery guild of Waterdeep, known
Okay,
for impossible heists, targeting crown rules, national secrets, and other heavily guarded prizes. These people must dress amazingly.
yeah, they absolutely. We're
Oh,
thinking
and-
Ocean's 8.
Diadem,
Yeah.
central piece. It's the necklace in
Yeah.
Ocean's 8. We need
We
the
couldn't see-
diadem for
We
the
couldn't see
outfit.
Goldenbeard's outfit in this picture you showed us, but I'm sure
I mean,
It was
the
great.
accessories
It was
only.
great.
He was wearing a
Like-
lot of jewelry.
Yeah.
How many rings is too many rings? Asking for a friend.
11.
11 is too many. Okay. Yeah.
Once you're doubling
I get-
up on a finger.
Yeah, I get it.
Unless they are thin
I
stacking
did
rings.
some quick math.
And
Okay.
then it's possible, like, then you can have multiple on a single finger.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah. So really, 11 is not too many if they're the correct 11.
Would you like to do anything?
Well,
He would just
Tony.
like to talk a lot and
Yeah.
make vague
That's-
plans.
That's allowed.
I think I'd like to walk down to the docks past Vidorant's vault. Just kind of,
Yeah.
Yeah,
Let's suss
scope
it
it
out.
out.
Yeah, I would
yeah.
suggest we split up
Cover more ground.
because nobody knows us.
What?
I could while Krong's doing the docks. If there are any temples in the dockland,
Every faith you could imagine is represented in Waterdeep.
yeah. So I'll hang out at
Even
what
some of the spooky ones.
right. I'll start with familiar ground. I'll visit a couple of the temples to Tamora near the as close to the vault as I can get.
Okay.
Just to talk to parishioners there, find out what I can about the vault and the surroundings.
All right. So Josh is going to go do that. JRF, what are you going to do?
I am going to go with Krong and suss out this vault.
Okay. And Tinkerbell, what would you like to do?
You know what? I'm gonna not let Josh run around by himself.
Okay.
Because that seems unfortunate.
Gotcha. I'm gonna move. I'm gonna kind of split you up on the map and do that. So let's handle Josh and Tinkerbell first. So you head into the trade wards. You head to some places where there are a bunch of various shrines and temples to various deities that people worship in Waterdeep, and you mingle. Josh, you don't have to roll anything to pass as a cleric because.
Surprise!
Yeah, but give me some roles for some social things for just chatting with people and seeing what people know, and tell me what kinds of things you're trying to ask about.
Just trying to learn more about the surrounding neighborhood.
Yep.
The people in the neighborhood. Have they ever seen the vault? Have they ever seen people coming in and out of it? Is it a creepy place? Does it have a reputation?
Yep.
Those sorts of things.
Is investigation the right score? That seems like a good thing. Roll investigation. And
I was really hoping something
Kathy, you can roll
charisma
investigation,
based.
It's not gonna matter. I got 4.
Okay.
I got a 10.
All right. You're asking around, you're chatting up with people, and you did mention that you specifically want to ask about both Vidorant's vault and the neighborhood in general.
Yeah.
And you hear, you basically learn Vidorant's vault is it's in the dock ward, kind of near the trade ward. The trade ward is so named because it's like next to one of the big gates to Waterdeep. So, merchant caravans come in there, and there's business related to that. Some people, probably some of the kind of snootier people that you meet in the trade wards, where in the temples where you are, Josh, kind of warn you about wandering too far into the dock ward. Things can get a little rough and tumble there. I just think that they're the wrong kind of people, that kind of thing. But in general, the dock ward is a mixture of kind of just working class people that would work on boats and all the businesses that are involved in and around boats, warehouses, longshoremen, and so on. But also it can be, there are definitely some slums in the dock ward. No one you talk to is familiar with the name Vidorant or the location of a vault in the dock ward.
So Tamora, she's Lady Luck,
Yeah.
chaotic good. So, any of the people, do I get the sense that do I get the sense that there are people there who'd be up for adventures, up for being paid off to do favors, things like that?
This is Waterdeep. Absolutely.
Okay.
In Waterdeep, especially if you've got coin and hey, you guys are seasoned adventurers, you've been saving up money, you could buy pretty much anything you needed if you needed to buy two tough adventurers to follow along with you. If you needed a street urchin to deliver messages, if you need something smuggled, if you need to bribe somebody off or get specific dirt, that is something that can happen in Waterdeep for the right price. And I think all of those kinds of services are well within your price range at this level of adventuring.
I hang out I hang out long enough and try to be charming enough that if I come back later,
You've made an
somebody might
impression.
remember me and might be amenable to a little mission trip.
Okay, give me just because I feel like you're hanging out in a temple, in basically a temple of your faith, right? Josh, give me a religion check just to see, if Tamara is looking out for you today.
That'd be a 14.
No, the vibes are good, but nothing special. All right. Meanwhile, arm in arm, JRAF and Krong have wandered across the tracks into the dock ward. It's definitely a more industrial area, lots of windy streets, lots of carts pulling things and people pushing crates and yelling at each other, cranes hoisting things up and down. And you wanted to head basically to the location marked on your map for Vidorant's Vault.
Yeah, just gonna kind of walk past it, try to
Yeah, you
scope
walk
out the
past it.
security.
I
It
am going to use my tattoo of disguise and change my appearance too, so I look like some random person
Okay.
and not myself.
not JRAF. Good
Yeah.
choice. Good
Yeah.
choice. All right. You walk past the location marked for you, and it basically looks like kind of an industrial looking building. It's a two-story, kind of rectangular stone structure. At first glance, you'd kind of assume that maybe it's kind of some kind of like a warehousey kind of looking structure, though it does not have any kind of big loading bay or anything like that. It does not have a lot of windows. It has a few. It is kind of on its own. It's not in a block with other buildings around it. And you do notice that there's a mix in the dock ward of occupied and unoccupied buildings around it. The neighborhood around Vidorant's Vault. There's like a big lumber yard. There's a pawn shop. There's a blacksmith, and then there's probably kind of a variety of currently unoccupied homes and businesses in this slightly more industrial area. But the vault itself, big two-story stone structure, looks pretty sturdy. A couple windows on the first floor, but not a lot, and they're pretty spaced out. You see like one window on the second floor. There's a balcony on the second floor. Because you specifically asked about the guard situation, just from walking down the street, there are kind of obvious just front doors to the vault that could just be, like doors leading into some kind of commercial building. There are guards kind of stationed over on a balcony over those front doors. And there is a guard. They're all wearing matching uniforms that is clearly kind of patrolling counterclockwise around the building. So there are, just from the exterior, three guards on staff.
We could get into one of these unoccupied buildings and watch them through a window, learn when the guards change shifts and that sort of thing.
Yeah, we could do that. And then we also could watch them so that we could turn into guards at some point.
Do you want to meet up with Josh and Tinkerbell and make a plan for how you might spend the next couple hours?
Sure. Let's go to the Yawning Turtle.
All right.
Good.
Sleepy, the turtle proprietor, it's so good to see you again. You like pizza? And he shoves some pizza on paper plates to you.
Turtles are known to eat pizza.
They are.
Yep,
Canon.
Uh-huh.
Canon.
Yep. New York City. The
eat
the
some
water deep
pizza.
of America.
Canon.
I eat the pizza.
So, JRAF and Krong, you have done a walk by super inconspicuously of the vault. Josh and Tinkerbell, you've done some chatting people up in one of the kind of temple districts of Waterdeep. What might be your next plans?
Well, based on our initial look, it seems like it would be wiser to sneak and trick our way in rather than try to break in, because there's not like a lot of points of entry.
Yeah, you saw. It looked like there was basically a single main door, set of double doors on the first floor.
Double doors.
Possible there was something up on the balcony, but it was hard to see from the street. But this was a very sturdy looking building. It's all stone. Just thinking of people that might set buildings on fire. I don't know why I'd be thinking about
Weird.
that, except that all
could
players ever.
We have an explosion expert.
Yeah.
You have an explosion expert.
The-
And I will remind you, it was also like you were very inconspicuous walking down the street because it was a city street with people coming and going. So the other thing to keep in mind is like Waterdeep is the city that never sleeps on the Sword Coast. There are people around, including officers of the law, regularly. So things that you do might be slightly more conspicuous than if you were just
Uh,
Okay,
sneaking
just
into a musical conservatory in the middle of nowhere to pick a
all
random.
right,
weird.
relax.
Yeah,
Weird.
thank you, Monty.
Um, the placement of the windows.
Nope.
No.
You noticed there were a couple windows along. I'm trying to avoid taking you to the map where you see everything, but by just describing it to you. But clearly, I'm going to do that eventually. Main doors to the structure north side of the building. You notice there were a couple windows along the south side of the building.
Okay, I'm wondering if they might be taller windows that are possibly not as watched because they assume that people won't necessarily be able to access them that can then be flown into.
There was, I think, a single window on the second floor on the west side of the building. So,
Okay.
and you could certainly, again, you're not in a big rush. You could certainly return later to, figure out a way to try and inconspicuously study a window if that was your so inclination. We're window inspectors.
Yes.
You said the balcony was over the door, and is there a door on the balcony as well?
Seemed like probably there would be just for architectural reasons.
Yeah.
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 Just checking.
Fire.
Now,
And there were
if the
two guards, basically two guards stationed up on the balcony, and then one guard on the ground level patrolling around the building.
Okay.
Yeah, if we get let's say a building, if we find an unoccupied building across the street and down a few buildings so that we could spy on them, if the guards don't sleep in the vault, like if they sleep somewhere else and come for their guard shift, all we would have to do is take the guards out at home, disguise ourselves as them, and then come as them.
Mm-hmm.
I have a thought. We know where she lives.
Mm-hmm.
It may be useful to find out what she looks like because we've got a couple of shapeshifters with us.
It's
You do.
true. That's
Yeah.
a good point.
Yeah.
Especially if we find a way to keep her distracted so we know that she won't show up.
And I'm gonna say you're not on a clock. You could do both of the things you've described, which include
Yeah.
staking out the vault, and I guess maybe staking out her mansion, or getting
Either-
into the mansion.
Either if we use her appearance to get in, or we use her appearance, as we've recently demonstrated, sometimes you can pretend to be the
It
bad
is
guy
very
Yeah.
and then
useful
try to
be
get
able to
out.
look like specific people.
Yeah.
It is an incredibly
Probably.
useful high
Yes.
skill.
Probably there's information at her home about the security at the vault.
Yes.
It still feels
Maybe-
like a Beagle Boys plan.
Nobody said we couldn't break into her house.
You are again. It's a D&D adventure. I literally can't stop you. I've tried several times and failed. But if you want to turn one heist into two heists, that's on you. You're just getting that's like a bargain. That's so much value for your heist money.
You're welcome,
Well, you did
listeners.
say we could steal anything we want.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Also, we could, like even talk to her, just talk to her and suss out what she's
Do
like. And,
we see about
try
setting up
to-
a meeting for Fashion Week?
yeah.
Yes.
Or trying to use Fashion Week to get them to fall in love again, and then she'll
Yes.
just give it back.
Yes. Yep.
And then they can rule together.
Yeah. It could be an engagement present.
They both get tickets to Fashion Week and they're on different sides of the aisle, just staring into each other's eyes.
yes.
all
Oh, and
night.
he's wearing the diadem that was just stolen from her.
Yes.
No, I'll be wearing it.
And
like
then her
fashion.
fingers go up and she touches the diadem that she's got. And oh, that's right. We need to make a fake diadem somewhere.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
I'm adding that to the list. Do I make a list of their bad ideas? I'm sorry, their ideas.
See,
Um,
you see,
See?
you see,
You
people
started
see what he does.
immediately.
So
As soon as I say
mean.
something, undercutting all the time, undercutting.
All the time.
Especially since we're always successful.
Um So
ridiculously.
question about those types of like, so if one was to utilize minor creation as prestidigitation, where you can create a non-magical trinket or an illusionary image that you can fit in your hand, is a diadem considered, like, it doesn't say whose hand necessarily, and so like could I use that to create an illusion of the diadem?
Absolutely. Some people would be able to see through that with differing levels of success, but that seems like totally a thing you could do, right? Unless it says like, no, you can't do that in the spell.
Right.
Right.
Okay. So there's an option.
Mm-hmm. I mean, we could just make a fake of it and give it to Golden Beard instead.
Ooh.
We wouldn't have to
Yeah.
do the heist at all.
Way more
Oh, brilliant.
You do need to have seen it, right? I mean, I assume.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so we just have to talk her into showing it to us, and then we can make a fake.
And then we can make it.
Yes, I like it. How do we? All right, here's the goal. We convince her to give us a tour of the vault.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like,
For Fashion
and
Week.
we are from Architectural Digest.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
We want to see the state of the art in treasure storage.
Yes. Love it. Excellent. These are all great plans.
Vault inspectors.
Yes.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, then if we see the diadem, then we just make a fake, give it to him.
We need somebody there who can paint very quickly.
Oh, you just go down to the painting district in Waterdeep. You can hire someone to do that. They're not cheap, but they're worth it.
Yeah. Excellent.
Well, these are all good ideas, as they say.
Thank
So
you.
sincere.
They are great ideas.
I believe
There-
you, Tony.
They're certainly all ideas. What will happen next time? Will they stake out the vault? Will they break into a mansion? Will they pretend to be architects or be inspectors from Architect Digest? Or will they infiltrate Fashion Week and thus destabilize the entire fashion economy up and down the Sword Coast? How will they ever find a way for Nixlana and Samfist to fall in love again? Question mark. Will they avoid doing the very adventure that I have set out for
It's on the list.
answers to questions such as these? Tune in next time to Total Party Kill.
I mean,
Listen,
it'd be really
you-
funny not to steal it.
You planned this for James to not chaos. the
You notice how
adventure.
fireproof that vault is?
That's really
that was great.
fireproof.
That was great. But you did not expect the chaotic energy.
There's only so many people it's hard to make an adventure that's like, it's not, that's how you end up with an adventure that's both flammable and inflammable, if you know what I mean.
Amazing.
So, I don't know. This is one of those, just there's a building. I got a bunch of details for this building, but also it's in a big city where a lot could happen, which I feel like affords interesting things in terms of like you have access to a ton of more resources than you do when you're just like in the middle of nowhere. But B, you got to maintain a low profile because you're gonna try and potentially lie to and or rip off somebody who's who steals things from people for a living.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Deals
Sure,
are
it's gonna be
amazing
fun.
things according to this list.
yeah, according
Yeah.
to this list, I have posted
National
some
secrets
notes.
and impossible heists.
Yeah.
Really? Why are
You know.
we best friends with her?
Maybe you got to be careful about reading their PR and accepting that as
it's
truth.
true.
But yeah,
It says it right on this cartoon
Okay.
map.
on this thing that I copied and pasted. Yeah, this cartoon map brought to you by the Silverfinger Society, your number one thieves guild.
Excellent.
Well, we did it Tuesday night. Live stream /bootleg. Thank you for listening along. We will be back sometime soon. How soon?